From everyone here at Affect TV, wishing you a pleasant evening and an even better tomorrow. from everyone here at Affect TV, wishing you a pleasant evening and an even better tomorrow.
Bonsoir et bienvenue dans Séance Data. Ce soir, nous recevons un invité très spécial, comme tous les soirs, le professeur Ike Forsyth. Bienvenue, professeur.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tout le plaisir est pour nous. Donc, professeur Forsyth, vous êtes un maître yogi, vous êtes enseignant et chercheur à la Harvard School of Relaxation depuis quelques années. Congrats, parce que c'est très impressionnant pour nous, un public français. Vous avez plusieurs livres et écrits à votre actif, mais vous êtes là aujourd'hui pour nous parler d'un dernier résultat, on va dire, de vos recherches, qui est, si j'ai bien compris, à la fois une méthode et une pratique que vous avez nommée la Neurogenesis. Alors, évidemment, nous, ici à Séance Data, et ainsi que j'imagine la plupart de nos téléspectateurs, n'ont absolument aucune idée ni aucune pratique du yoga. Est-ce que vous pouvez, de façon concise et pour les novices que nous sommes, définir un petit peu, présenter cette neurogénésis?
Absolutely no problem. So I began my career as a researcher, and I had completed my first PhD, which had very much ended my cerebral capacities, so I needed to find something to decompress. So I started researching yogic practices as well as Zen Buddhism, and from this kind of built a web of intrigue into many different directions in the ways of practices for static apnea, training underwater, for example, training in cold climates, martial arts, neuropsychology, as well as pharmacology, and many other things. Essentially, what I came to a grasp of was taking from things of history as well as modern science and amalgamating them into a new form, which would be a daily practice that is aimed at bringing people together to communicate in a form that is non-verbal. That is to say, a communicational form that is physical in movement. So it could be brought closer to Qigong or to dance or perhaps yoga, but at its core it is a self-practice for bringing center and connectivity to the world.
Donc c'est un sport.
I wouldn't say a sport because a sport insinuates that there is competition. The only competition you will ever receive within this sort of practice would be with the self. So tackling the shortcomings of your own personality, or perhaps the things that you're not yet comfortable to take into consideration as a part of yourself.
Mais bon, je comprends votre réponse sur la compétition et sur le sport comme étant quelque chose de nécessairement compétitif, mais dans la logique de communication entre deux êtres, puisque c'est un des buts, en tout cas des perspectives de cette pratique dont vous parlez. La question de la communication et aussi, et peut-être même plus spécifiquement la communication non verbale, la notion d'interaction implique, sinon compétition, au moins jeu de pouvoir, d'équilibre entre l'un et l'autre. Donc peut-être que ça contredit un petit peu ce que vous venez de dire.
Yes, I see what you mean. I understand where that statement comes from. But that's all about the change of perspective. So when you begin, there will be exactly what you've stated. There will be uneven ground. But the thing is that what you're trying to do is not, let's see, how would we put this? You aren't attempting to pass something on, and you're not trying to achieve anything in particular. It's more about making yourself lucid, in control of your own body, and then having the control to remain as open as physically possible, therefore receiving information on a minute scale. So just the twitch of a body, and it's more about reading than it is writing, if that's a good analogy.
D'accord.
Yeah.
Je comprends l'analogie. Mais par exemple, alors, nous, là, on est dans un contexte français. Vous savez que les Français, ils aiment bien, en général, jouer avec ces choses-là. Par exemple, une des pratiques les plus ancestrales de la communication non verbale entre deux êtres, c'est évidemment le sexe. Et je vais citer un penseur un peu controversé ces derniers temps, qui est un de vos compatriotes, je crois, et qui disait, et ça l'a amené à loin, que sex is power, et que tout ce qui concerne le sexe a un rapport avec le pouvoir, et donc et je pense que dans une tradition française, en tout cas latine, c'est cette idée de balance de pouvoir entre deux êtres qui s'attirent, qui se répulsent et qui se draguent, ou qui arrivent jusqu'à une logique de physical encounter.
Sure.
On est nécessairement sur un recette du non-équilibre entre l'un et l'autre. Et on n'est pas obligé d'être que dans le pouvoir. Bonsoir et bienvenue dans Séance Data, qui contraint, mais au contraire dans une balance de pouvoir qui devient un jeu.
Yeah.
Est-ce qu'on est aussi dans cette perspective-là?
It definitely plays into a part of it. Yeah.
Invité très spécial, comme tous les soirs, le professeur Ike Forsyth. Bienvenue, professeur.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Donc, professeur Forsyth, vous êtes un maître, enseignant et chercheur à la Harvard School of à la recherche et en une
Good evening. My name is Professor Isaac Forsyth. I'm from the Harvard School of Psychology. I am a specialist in all things relaxation, meditative, and lucidity. This evening we will be speaking on the subject of neurogenesis, that is the psionic way of mycelium. We will be concentrating on three major things: the mind, the body, and the soul, and bringing all three together for the betterment of humanity, the world, and the universum. Thank you very much. This is part one. Enjoy. Today we start with a stance known as standing at the center of the universe. Block out everything else from the world that is unimportant in this moment. Bring everything into the central finite curve of the present. Concentrate on your stance. This is what is important. What we are practicing today is effort and breathing in comparison to the body, to power, and to electricity. Think, where are your feet? What is the placement? Where is the weight being dispositioned? Beyond that, think of your knees. Are they bent? Are they straight? Are you comfortable? Think of your hips, of your pelvic floor. Bring forward your mons pubis and breathe. Then extend through the chest, bring through your hands, and with your inspiration, your breath, bring in, gather towards the belly, circulate, bring up through the spine, up through the back of the brain, and out through the third eye. Repeat this process, and don't be afraid to spend a bit of time with it. It is all about concentration and patience. Let's spend a couple of moments practicing this now. Notice that I let my chest expand, that my belly goes outwards when I inhale, and that I contract my body when I exhale. Imagine the inhalation is blue and the exhalation is red. Disperse the carbon monoxide across and let it be reborn within the universal. Stance number 2 is called standing at the edge of the world. Imagine yourself standing on the edge of a precipice. In front of you rests the unknown, and behind rests your internal world, the innerverse. This is all about balance, for if you fall forwards, you fall into the unknown, into fear. If you turn around and walk back the other way, you are blind. You are living in an empty world. So balance. Stand strong and true. Hold and be lucid. Stance number 3 is balance is the all. Where there is darkness, there is light. And within that light, there is darkness itself. And within that darkness, there is more light. Consider what you see within your own shadow. The parts that you neglect. The parts that, should you act upon them, you would be nothing short of a monster. It is important to understand that a good man is not incapable of harm. A good human being is extremely capable, but knows better than to act upon negative impulses. Consider this, and do not fear what you see in the shadows. Stance number 4 is absorbing the sun. The sun stands at the center of our universe, and we revolve. All life comes from the radiation that flows out of this giant ball in the sky. Let us consider what it brings us every day. Using the palms of your hand, outstretch, lengthen your entire body and absorb. Your palms are the hands of the soul. Allow them to feed upon the rays of the sky. In stance number 5, we will be feeding the earth. We are practitioners of peace and therefore shall abide by the laws of equivalent exchange. What energy we have harnessed from the sun we will bring to our core, energizing ourselves, and what excess we have we shall distribute into the crust of the earth itself, feeding life that feeds more life that brings us life in the end. Remember to concentrate on the placement of the feet. It is very important. This is quadrilateral movement. We are distributing weight between our palms and our feet. So remember that our hands must have equivalent balance between the fingers, the thumbs, and the palms. Take your time with this, experiment, and don't go too far. It is, after all, only the first day. Stance number 6 is titled Follow the Moon. The reason being that the moon, for generations and centuries and millennia in general, has been viewed as a deity of sorts, as it is the changer of tides and the bringer of menstruation. Good times, bad times, who knows? What we will do now is we will spread our mass out as far as we can, bringing the feet to the right, to the left, centralizing the compound. We will outstretch our arms and bring one up to the moon. It shall arc from the left over to the right. Remember to equally distribute your weight using the opposite arm. Once you have done the left side, then do the right. Do this a total of 4 times on both sides. And remember to breathe. Stance number 7 is titled Changing the Tide. As influenced by the moon, the tide also brings food. It tells those of the ocean where to go and when, how to survive. We too must learn to listen to the same music as they do. With this skill, we will never make a mistake. We will only be directed in the direction that we need to be. So, with this physicalization, with the legs spread apart as before, we will lean forwards, always remaining equal balance upon the feet. We will extend one arm to the ground, and the other shall rotate around to the sky. Your neck shall turn around to look at the opposing arm, that is, the one of the moon. Once you have done one side, do the other, and repeat this 4 times. And remember to breathe. Stance number 8 is titled Riding the Tide. Now, we have learned how to listen to the music of the ocean. Now we must learn how to flow within it. So in this stance, what we will be doing is bringing the weight all the way forwards. And we'll place our palms upon the ground, even palming of course. And at the back we will keep our ankles as low to the ground as possible. The idea is to keep the hips rotated forwards and the back inclined. That way, you can allow the passage of oxygen as well as blood to the brain. Once you have held this stance for 5 seconds, that is a total of 2.5 inhalations and 1 exhalation, you will exhale and drift yourself forwards, bringing all of your weight in a steady, flowic movement all the way to the front. You will look up towards the sky, you will finish your exhale and hold for 3 seconds, and then you will inhale and bring yourself back. Remember that if it begins hard, to do it slowly, to do it gently. You don't want to hurt yourself doing this. And the more that you do it, the easier it shall become. Remember, inhale when you are bringing it back, exhale when you are extending. Stance number 9 is dive, curl, and keep calm. This is an important mantra. For we, those who are surfing the breaks of our oceans, will inevitably find ourselves in chaos from time to time. There will be the wave that we are not yet prepared to take, and therefore we will be dragged down into turmoil and chaos. This exercise is important in this way, for you are placing your arms and your legs behind you, you are laying upon your stomach, and you are concentrating on the movement of raising your chest off of the ground without any influence by the arms or the legs. Inhale as you bring your body up. You bring the crown of your neck up to the sun, you hold it for a moment, and exhale. Bring yourself back into calm. Bring yourself back to peace. Stance number 10 is titled Pray and Feel Gratitude to the Mother Ocean. Religious or not, we are spiritual beings. There are things within our brains that will help us experience other dimensions that we, as waking beings, will not actually be conscious of until the day of our passing. There is a connection, though. By bringing knees to the crust of the earth, palms down, and then bringing the forehead to the ground, the third eye, you can activate surreal parts of the pineal gland, allowing you to become more receptive to those around you, as well as the things hidden within yourself. So take the time, really take the time with this one. This is a patience game. Move your entire weight forwards and back using the inhale and exhale systems of extension, exhale, inhale, brought back. Do this a total of 6 times. If you're feeling lucky, a little 7. Stance number 11 is you are the seed growing future. In this stance, which is participated in by sitting down on the ground, cross-legged, remember to keep your back straight, your shoulders out into the rear. You will extend your neck, you will bring the chin up, and you will breathe. In doing so, you will bring pieces of your hands together, principally the tips of your fingers touching the tips of the thumbs, or the tips of the thumbs to the second appendage. In sequence with this, you will activate certain pressure points, illuminating the brain as well as the body itself. Remember not to neglect a single part of your hand, for every part of the hand is sacredly connected to another part of the body. Take the time, concentrate, and awaken. Stance number 12 is titled Spreading Across the Crust, otherwise could be referred to as mycelium. In the world of mushrooms, there is a highly efficient process named mycelium, in which one spreads out the wings of life and absorbs life, bringing it back, redistributing it in general. What we will be doing now is lying down upon our backs, stretching out, relaxing. You will take a deep breath in, and upon the exhalation, you will bring your weight forwards from the hips, and you will extend your arms with your neck naturally extending from the spine. You will grip your feet, or if you're not flexible enough, the knees is sufficient, or the shins, whatever you can do. Or at the very base, wrap a towel around your feet and bring them close to you. And what you will do is you will breathe in, and you will give yourself a little bit of space. And when you exhale, you'll bring your weight closer to your legs. Now, once you've done this a few times, you've got a little bit further than you've started, bring your legs in together to meet. Let your legs flap out like wings and bring them down to the ground as much as you can. This will stretch out your pelvic floor, it will stretch out your stomach and legs. Remember, any time that you're pushing your body, you have to be exhaling. This will save you from any unnecessary pain, and you will also be pushing your physical ability time and time again. Stance number 13 is titled Coiling the Majestic Potential. In this stance, we will be lying upon our backs, and we'll be bringing the leg of the right before us. With the left arm, we will bring it down to our knees. And with an exhalation, we'll bring that knee over to the left-hand side. Now, while the knee is to the left, our heads shall tilt to the right, concentrating on the arm that is still flat upon the ground. It is important to exhale during this stretch. And in that moment of silence between the inhale and the exhale, think of what it would be to progress. What do you wish to achieve by performing this practice? Take a few moments to do that, and then bring the leg back up and do the next leg. Stance number 14 is titled Archway to Lucidity. We'll begin by once again placing ourselves upon our backs. It is important to stretch thoroughly before attempting this, as one can injure themselves if they are unprepared. Again, exhalation upon the extension. Now, lying upon our backs, we will bring the weight upon our shoulders and onto our feet, bringing our pelvis and genital area into the air. We will hold this weight, bringing our arms to our ankles, and we will breathe for a total of 5 times. Once we feel comfortable with this stance, we will bring our arms behind our shoulders, and we will stretch out our fingers as much as possible. You want to be distributing all of your weight because this is an unnatural form of stance, and you must be prepared to take the load. Now, once you have arched, bring your entire weight up and hold yourself as if you were a quadrilateral animal, a dog or a cat, except facing backwards. You will extend your belly to the sky, absorbing any energy that may be residually left over, and you will be distributing it through your arms as if they have roots into the ground. Hold this for up to a minute, breathing all the way, and then lower yourself back to the ground and take a few moments to rest. The final stance, stance number 15 this evening, is titled Blade of Grass in the Wind. It is a very minimalistic stretch, but it is an extremely important one. Imagine yourself a single blade of grass in an endless field. Let the breeze shake you, let it move you. Move naturally within your own body, distributing your weight throughout your feet, and try to concentrate on this sensation. You are not directing yourself hither and thither, you are simply flowing. And take the time to do this. Do not release yourself from this state until you have reached an absolute peaceful state. That's all we have for this evening. Thank you so much for your patience. Please do take into consideration that you will have to do this a minimum of 3 times a week just to progress a minimum amount. If you can give yourself enough time to do it once a day, you will feel a change within your own being in the coming weeks. What I will say is this: take into consideration what you are eating. The different kinds of foods that you are putting inside your body will affect your ability to progress in this program, as well as become more efficient as a human being in general. Spend enough time in the sunlight, breathe healthily, be active, stay away from unnecessary stresses, and come back next week. We'll be extending our skill set and generally having a good time. Thank you very much. I'm Professor Isaac Forsyth from the Institute of Chilling Out. Have a good one.
From everyone here at Affect TV, wishing you a pleasant evening and an even better tomorrow.
Stardust began as an idea to create the ultimate food. The goal wasn't to replace food, but to provide a better alternative to what we usually eat. Stardust is an alternative to traditional food that give people a convenient, affordable, and healthy way to fuel their bodies. It's a sustainable food source, designed to keep the body in a balanced state of nutrition. Unlike most other foods that prioritize taste and texture, Stardust was engineered to maximize nutrition. To nourish the body in the most efficient way possible. To better understand the intricate requirements of the human body, the team consulted with nutrition experts and food scientists. Your body is constantly replenishing itself and needs part to do that micronutrients, electrolytes, vitamins, minerals. We know what we are made of, and that's why Stardust is Using Stardust as a resource means that you can take the time you would normally spend preparing, eating, and cleaning up after meals and put that time into other areas of your life. It's shipped directly to you and comes in a powdered form that doesn't expire for 2 years. 1 tube equals 1 day of food. Just mix the Stardust with water and you got a complete day's worth of nutrition. A bag makes an entire day's worth of food for $9 only. Your body learns that it is very nourishing substance and it is very, very satisfying.
cosmos to your kitchen table. It's finally here. Allow yourself to be the best possible you. Buy Stardust today and feel the splendor of simplified perfection. Buy Stardust today and feel the splendor of simplified perfection. Focus, power, equanimity. Just a few of the many, many benefits coming to you. Are you ready? Have you waited long enough? Taste the elegance of supreme nutrition and bask in the glow of true and honest contentment. From everyone here at Affect TV, wishing you a pleasant evening and an even better tomorrow.